Today, you'll learn English through story. We'll read together the true story of Cleopatra's rise, fall, and lasting legacy. As we read together, you'll improve your listening skills, expand your vocabulary, improve your pronunciation, and learn advanced grammar. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. Let's start the story. Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of ancient Egypt, was a ruler known for her intelligence, political savvy, and dramatic life. Born into royalty, she was determined to keep Egypt independent from Rome's growing power. First, let's clarify the pronunciation. Did you notice I said pharaoh? Pharaoh, so that PH is pronounced as an F, pharaoh. And ancient. I know this is a word that students struggle with. Repeat after me. Ancient. Ancient. Now, let's look at the phrase to be known for. Following this phrase, you can use a noun or a gerund. This means you're famous because of something. For example, maybe you would tell your friends, Jennifer is known for her practical English lessons. Notice I use this phrase with a noun, practical English lessons, that's a something. But you could equally use a verb, a gerund verb, and say Jennifer is known for creating practical lessons. So is that something you would tell your friends? If it is, put that's right, put that's right in the comments. Let's review the adjective savvy. Notice that pronunciation? Avy, a long A, savvy. This represents having practical knowledge or ability. It's very commonly used with he's tech savvy, tech savvy. So he's very good with technology. He has practical knowledge and ability. He's tech savvy and can fix any computer problem. I'm not the most tech savvy, but I do okay. What about you? Now, don't worry about taking notes. You can download the free lesson PDF and you can find the link in the description. Let's look at to be born into. This means you're born as a member of a particular family or even social group. So it would be common to hear something like she was born into a wealthy family. So you need a type of family or a social group. And of course, the verb to be needs to be conjugated. This is in the past simple. And to be determined. This means that you have a strong will or intention. This is something I'm sure you would say, I'm determined to improve, notice the infinitive, I'm determined to improve my English and become fluent. Does that describe you? I'm sure it does, so put that's right, put that's right in the comments. Now let's keep reading the story. She spoke several languages and positioned herself as a strong leader during a time of intense turmoil. At just 18, she began co-ruling with her brother, but soon seized control, refusing to be pushed aside. Let's review to position oneself as. This means you present yourself in a particular role or way, and you do that to influence others' opinions. This is commonly used in a business context. The company, that's the subject, positioned itself because oneself needs to match the subject. The company positioned itself as, you need that preposition as, the leader in green technology. Or you might say we need to position ourselves because ourselves matches we as tech-savvy accountants if we want the startup to hire us. Let's review turmoil. This is a noun. It represents a state of great confusion or disorder. You hear this in the news a lot. The country was in turmoil. So remember, turmoil is a noun. So to complete the sentence grammatically, you need the verb to be and the preposition in, to be in turmoil. The country was in turmoil after the election. or will be in turmoil if our supplier goes bankrupt. Now, I love to co-rule. So rule is a verb, but you're adding co in front of it. Co-rule, co-rule. This means to rule jointly with others. Now, you can change the verb to many other things. For example, the siblings were co-running the family business. So they were running the business together. So this is very common with co-rule, co-run, co-own, own together, co-create, create together, co-host, host together, co-author, and in modern times, co-parent. This is the term that describes when two people who are not together romantically, they parent together, co-parent. Now, to seize. This means to take control quickly and forcibly. For example, my sister is trying to seize control of the business we co-own. Seize control sounds very aggressive. To sound more moderate, you might just say take control. This is very commonly used with authorities. For example, the police seized several illegal items. So notice in this case, you seize something. The police seized several illegal items from the warehouse. Now, this is often used in an inspirational day. One thing I say to my husband a lot, and he generally rolls his eyes, is I say, let's seize the day. Let's take control of the day. So what about you? Are you going to seize the day? If you are, put let's go, put let's go in the comments. Now, to be pushed aside, notice this is the passive voice. This means to be ignored, excluded, or treated as unimportant. For example, my ideas are always pushed aside, ignored, treated as unimportant, even though we co-run the business. We run it together. Now remember, that's the passive voice. You could use this in the active voice. I could say, we co-run the business. You can't push my ideas aside. So the subject, you're doing the action. You're ignoring my ideas. Let's keep reading the story. Facing threats from within her family, Cleopatra sought an alliance with Julius Caesar. Their relationship wasn't just romantic, it was deeply political. With his support, she secured her throne and gave birth to his son. I love how this began, facing plus noun. This is a participle phrase, and this represents being confronted with something. You can use this in an everyday context, facing deadlines. So there's a deadline here, and you're confronted with it. Facing deadlines, she worked late every night. So you can put this phrase in front of a complete clause, a complete sentence. You could also say, which is common, in the face of. So instead of facing, you can say in the face of, and then deadlines, the same clause. She works late every night. Now, to seek, you may know this. This means to try to find or obtain something. Notice the past simple is irregular. He sought, ought. He sought. He sought advice from a mentor. Or you could say, she always seeks advice from her co-author, the person she's writing the book with, when facing writer's block. So writer's block is here. Writer's block means you can't think of what to write next. You can't think of how to continue or even start the story. So when you're confronted by that, facing writer's block. Let's review deeply. This is an adverb. It's an intensifier, so it means very much or strongly. She was deeply moved by that speech. I'm deeply touched by my students' positive words, and this is very true. I read all the comments, and when you say positive things about how much you enjoy the lessons, it means a lot to me. I'm deeply touched. Now let's review to secure something. This means to successfully get, achieve, or make something certain or safe. This is commonly used in a business context. I finally secured an interview with Google. So yes, you could say I finally got an interview with Google, but to make it sound like there was some struggle involved and the interview is now certain, you've obtained it successfully, you can use secure to make it sound stronger. Or you can say the company secured funding for its new project. Again, it sounds more intense than simply saying got funding. Let's keep reading. After Caesar's assassination, Cleopatra formed another famous romantic and political alliance with Mark Antony. Together, they aimed to challenge Rome's dominance, but their forces were ultimately defeated. Let's review to aim to do something. This is a great expression. This means to intend or plan to do something. So aim, of course, is your verb. The company aims, because the company is it aims, and then your infinitive, to expand internationally next year. Or you could say, I aim to pass my IELTS in 3 months. Now, this would be the same as saying my goal is to pass my IELTS in 3 months. So notice here, my goal, that's a noun, that's the subject, but to aim is a verb. Let's keep reading. Refusing to be paraded through the streets of Rome as a symbol of defeat, Cleopatra made a bold choice. She is believed to have died by suicide, though the exact details remain a mystery. Let's review bold. This is a great adjective. This means showing courage or willingness to take risks. You can say it was a bold decision. So decision is your noun, bold is your adjective. It describes the decision. To start a business during a recession. Some people may say that's stupid. Other people would say that's bold, that's courageous. So bold has a positive feel. Or someone could say to you, you need to be bold. So again, bold is an adjective. Be, in this case, is the verb. You need to be bold if you want to improve your speaking skills. You need courage to get out there and share your ideas in public, raise your hand, go to meetups, make new friends. You need to be bold. Now let's review this structure. To be believed, to have, and then your past participle. First of all, this is the passive voice. In this case, it's used to express something generally thought or assumed to be true about the past. So I could say she is believed to have, and then the past participle of whatever verb you want. So in this case, I'll use write. So written is the past participle. She is believed to have written the novel in 1920. This is like saying we think she wrote the novel in 1920, but we're not certain. Absolutely, in your everyday speech, you can simply use we think she wrote the novel, but we're not certain. However, this is a more advanced expression that you will read in books, you'll hear in the news, so it's important to understand the meaning. I like this one, to remain a mystery. This is used to say that something is unknown or unexplained. A mystery. So you could say the cause of the fire remains a mystery. We don't know what caused the fire. You can conjugate that verb. You could say the cause of the fire remained a mystery until 2010. So now, because it's after 2010, it sounds like we know the cause of the fire, but we didn't know the cause of the fire for a period of time. Let's keep reading. Her death marked the end of the Egyptian Empire and the beginning of Roman rule in Egypt. Yet Cleopatra's story has continued to captivate historians, artists, and writers for centuries. Let's review to mark the end of something. This is a common expression in the news and in books. This means to signal or identify the end point. For example, the invention of the internet marked the end of traditional communication methods. Now let's review to captivate. This is a more advanced way of saying to attract and hold the attention of someone completely. So you could say the movie captivated audiences worldwide. So they didn't just watch the movie, they watched it with their absolute focus and intention. Now, hopefully you would say learning English through story is captivating. This lesson right now is captivating. Notice here though, captivating is an adjective. To be is the verb conjugated, is captivating. So right now I have your full attention, focus, and interest. Let's keep reading. Contrary to popular belief, Cleopatra wasn't just a seductress. She was a skilled strategist and a powerful leader who used every tool at her disposal. Let's review contrary to something. This is a prepositional phrase. It means opposite to or against something. Contrary to popular belief, Toronto is not the capital of Canada. Did you think that? Well, it's the opposite. It's against. So that's how you can use contrary to popular belief. Ottawa is the capital. Or you could say contrary to expectations. So going against expectations, opposite of expectations, the event was a huge success. So this sounds like people thought the event would be a failure or a disaster, but contrary to expectations, it was a success. Let's review at one's disposal. This is an idiom. I love this idiom. It means available for use whenever needed. Someone could say, we're struggling financially, even though we have the best technology at our disposal. So remember, you need to match your possessive to the subject, our disposal. Or I could say to you, you have hundreds of lessons at your disposal on my YouTube channel. You can watch them anytime. They're available to you anytime. They're at your disposal. Let's keep reading. Through ambition, charm, and intelligence, she earned a place in history. More than 2,000 years later, Cleopatra remains a figure who defied expectations and left a legacy that is nothing short of legendary. Let's look at to defy. This is a verb. It means to openly resist or challenge. In a family situation, you might say he defied, the past simple, he defied his parents' wish to become a doctor. They wanted him to become a doctor. He did not. He defied his parents. Or they defied the school's dress code by wearing bright colors. Now let's review to be nothing short of, and then whatever the adjective is, legendary. This is used to emphasize that something is truly whatever that adjective is. In this case, legendary. So hopefully you're thinking this lesson is nothing short of, notice that preposition of, extraordinary, amazing, incredible, exceptional. You can use any adjective you want and it emphasizes that. You can use this in an everyday context and say, wow, the sunset last night was, because your verb to be has to match the subject and time reference. The sunset last night was nothing short of remarkable or unforgettable. So it's emphasizing that adjective. Now that you know all the vocabulary, let's read the story from start to finish. Cleopatra's rise, fall, and lasting legacy. Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of ancient Egypt, was a ruler known for her intelligence, political savvy, and dramatic life. Born into royalty, she was determined to keep Egypt independent from Rome's growing power. She spoke several languages and positioned herself as a strong leader during a time of intense turmoil. At just 18, she began co-ruling with her brother, but soon seized control, refusing to be pushed aside. Facing threats from within her family, Cleopatra sought an alliance with Julius Caesar. Their relationship wasn't just romantic, it was deeply political. With his support, she secured her throne and gave birth to his son. After Caesar's assassination, Cleopatra formed another famous romantic and political alliance with Mark Antony. Together, they aimed to challenge Rome's dominance, but their forces were ultimately defeated. Refusing to be paraded through the streets of Rome as a symbol of defeat, Cleopatra made a bold choice. She is believed to have died by suicide, though the exact details remain a mystery. Her death marked the end of the Egyptian Empire and the beginning of Roman rule in Egypt. Yet Cleopatra's story has continued to captivate historians, artists, and writers for centuries. Contrary to popular belief, Cleopatra wasn't just a seductress. She was a skilled strategist and a powerful leader who used every tool at her disposal. Through ambition, charm, and intelligence, she earned a place in history. More than 2,000 years later, Cleopatra remains a figure who defied expectations and left a legacy that is nothing short of legendary. Amazing job! Do you want to keep learning English through story? If you do, put yes, 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 put yes, yes, yes in the comments below. And of course, make sure you like this lesson, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And here's another lesson I know you'll love. Watch it now.